Yes, sir. Did your client do any core drilling before you wrote this check to see the amount of rock that was there?
Client tested the property. I'm not exactly sure what methods were used. They were convinced that there was excellent stone on the property.
I think the answer is what we can hear. I think what we can hear.
The question was, did the client do any testing on the property for rock before they bought? And the answer is absolutely yes. I don't know what they did, but they went on the property legally and lawfully, checked it out, felt it was an excellent source for quarry rock, and then made the decision to close on the property.
So if we asked the previous owners how they gained access, are you telling us why they would say that they allowed them to go on not knowing who purchased it?
I'm going to direct you to the seller of the property. I was not involved in any negotiations for the acquisition of the property, and I'm telling you that the client had initially an option on the property, wasn't prepared by me, and wasn't involved in it. They took an option, they had the right to go on the property.
That's incorrect, actually. You never had an option on the property. That is absolutely incorrect. And just to answer your question, the owners never knew about any of the core drilling or any other purposes that they may have done.
Let me answer this.
That's exactly right.
And I want to be very clear, if the question came up, did the sellers of the property know the proposed purpose? I don't think so. I was not involved whatsoever. This gentleman just raised his hand and identified himself as a member of that family. All I know is that the client had a contract, call it an option, they had a closing time within which they have the right to go on the property. No apologies. They went on the property, they checked it out, they made the decision to buy, they closed, and they paid about $2 million to your family, is what I understand. You weren't involved. That's my understanding of it.
Now, I have a second question I was actually asking. What if any studies were done in regard to the refractive impact of the area? And also, is there been any geological studies of the impact of blasting and substrata, particularly leading up the river?
I'll answer those in the same order. My client hired a traffic consultant out of Nashville who came out and did a study and said with access to new Highway 25, it was basically a very acceptable traffic pattern.
Are those studies public record?
I'm sorry?
Are those studies public record?
They're not. My client hired somebody, got the report back. Any testing that has yet been done about an impact on this quarry as opposed to any other one on the other items that you mentioned. Not
Are any of these studies that have been done, will they be made available to us, or will they have to wait for litigation to discover?
Frankly, it may be presented probably at the Board of Zoning Appeals, which is on the article.
Before we proceed, I would like everyone, please use our mic when they ask questions. We have video, and this proceeding, and we will make sure that we have clear answers to your questions.
I think we can speak clear enough about a mic. I have a question. I think you can hear me. What about the asphalt? How are you going to suppress the smell from the asphalt?
Then I got a question after him, sir. Somebody's got a question.
Can we ask that he also answer the questions in the microphone?
Yes.
She's had 2 ceilings fall from blasting, and I understand this is a little different. Two parts to this question. One, what kind of space are you going to be using, or what kind of scale distance formula are you using when you're doing the blasting? And 2 is really fast, are you accounting for
suggest there will be a permanent seismograph, as I said in the earlier operation, John did this, permanent seismograph all the way around the quarry pit itself. I don't know what other quarries do that, but we're making that a commitment that if the quarry is approved, it will have the permanent seismograph circling the quarry.
Will that seismograph be further than 300 feet out from the blast site? Or will it be within 300 feet?
I don't know the answer to that.
Raleigh waves aren't 300 feet physically themselves. You put them in front of 300 feet, we'll never report these, and BCE does this all the time. And the other question is, how will the public be able to get access to these seismograph records, even if there is no high reading?
Let me just ask you about that. What did you say about BCE?
BCE? Are you familiar with that entity?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You just made a comment about some tests that are done and a certain company does that.
Yes.
What's that company and what do they do?
BCE is they are an engineering company. They work with insurance, and they usually work on the side of insurance to improve or disprove blasting. And they also work with quarries. I'm just curious, and I'm not saying that they do this. I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying this is when you look at how they place their seismographs. I'm not even making the allegation that if they do it incorrectly, although I have problems with not taking the ISP test versus what BCE does. For this discussion today, I'm going to say they're professional and they do the right thing. However, I'm just curious as to where these seismographs are placed and how the public can get access to the data, even if they're too high rate.
Your answer to you is that we will have a company like BCE, I know who they are, or somebody of equal quality, as you said they were professional, capable. It'll be a BCE or somebody of their qualifications.
And the only last question I have is, do you or have you ever or do you presently represent LoJack?
I do not. I know the owners of LoJack. I had no representation of LoJack, nor is my firm to my knowledge.
Okay. Oh, blastingfacts.org. Check it out.
You mentioned earlier a couple of times that there was a cemetery on the property, and this is the GW River Cemetery, so you contact some of the extenders. Were you aware that there's actually 2 cemeteries on the property?
No, I know that there's what was reported to us, what we observed on the property was 9 tombstones.
Well, that is correct. That's the GW River Cemetery. The other one is Anthony and Caroline Brown, who were actually 2 freed slaves that acquired 14 or 15 acres there in December of 1865. Their tombstone is a double tombstone about this high, and it's his own.
Let me answer you. I'm not aware of that. I didn't do the field investigation. I knew about the one that you mentioned, Colin Griffin. And the law in Tennessee is very clear. Unless you get the consent of the owners or a judge orders it, the graves are to stay where they are. It's the obligation of the owner to put fencing around them and always have access to members of the family. I came to this building and was directed to somebody who actually had family buried on the site. I talked to her about it and told her exactly what I'm telling you, and she said, my brother has moved back. He's out of town. He's moved back. Did you talk to him? He called me. I told him the exact same thing I'm telling you. That is, we are obligated to fence around where the tombstones are and allow access to the members of the family. We'll do that whether it's this cemetery or the one that you're talking about.
Right. The second cemetery I'm telling you about is like right in the middle of where you guys proposed to have a quarry. He was just investigating on that, and also he consulted with any archaeology about potential Native American burial ground here possibly on the site.
To my knowledge, there's been no archaeological check, but as of some years ago, the law in Tennessee is the same for Native Americans as it is for others. It's the same process. There was a time when you disinterred and reinterred Indian graves and mounds without any consent from anyone. It's now been changed so it's the same. Native American and others are the same. We have the same
But
process.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention, pass along the power to be that there is 2 cemeteries and there is potential Native American burial on the site. So I appreciate it.
My name is Carl Richard. I'm Carl from Castalian. I'd like to raise a question. Many of the things you talked about are on-site impacts. I'm concerned about one of the main example, I understand that quarries are heavy users of water. What is your effect going to be on the water table? I'm sure that there are a number of residents that have wells or either for drinking or other purposes that might be affected by the heavy use of water by this quarry.
Well, I am not certain exactly what steps need to be taken in order to implement the appropriate water use on the site. We've got to deal with the county. Frankly, I think there may well be some county representatives here tonight. They're the ones who will eventually make the decision as to what this operation needs to do to provide water for it and to make sure that it does not any mal-affect anybody around it. That'll be a county decision. That's not my client. We do what the county tells us.
My name is Philip Griffith. I'd like to read you just a short paragraph, please. I shall refer to Papa frequently in this write-up. About this time, he became more feeble. I, being the only member of the family at home, except Mama, shall never forget him. While I don't remember the exact date of his passing in March 1909, I do remember very vividly being in the room at the time it happened. He had not been sick in all ways as long as I knew him. When he was asked how he was feeling, he would say, just tolerable or moderate. On this particular morning, about 9 o'clock, after he had finished reading the Bible, he lay down on the couch in the living room. No one thought that he was very sick, but in a few moments he passed on so quietly that it seemed that he had just fallen asleep. My mama lost a good husband, and we, his children, a good father, but the Lord received a good, faithful servant. Somehow I felt that Jesus was in the room that morning, and then I heard him say, I have come to take you home, follow me. I called him Mama, Frank and Mary, who lived next door. Somehow I could not cry. I went to our bench on the creek bank where we frequently sat and talked. In a minute, old Bailey, my dog, climbed up, put his head against my face, and seemed to say I love him too. He was laid to rest by his son Walter.
I don't know that I can answer that. Go ahead, Joe.
I'll answer that. What that permit is, that section of the permitting that we have in general terms is a sinkhole permit, and what is injected in the state's terminology is water. That if there's water in an area that normally drains to a sinkhole, then when you have a construction site, you have to have this permit, which shows that you are doing your erosion control around the sinkhole to let the water that already flowed to that sinkhole originally continue to do so when you have construction. So it's runoff water.
What are the potential contaminants that are picked up from relaxing, heavy equipment, oil leaks, etc.?
Those are the potential contaminants that are covered under the NPDES permit and also the UIC permit. And from